Tomb Raider. Bum, bum, bum. It's a franchise that's like 30 years old. Ba-da-dum, bum, ba. So let's make a role-playing game now. Ba-da-dum, da-da-dum, da-da-dum. Tomb Raider. Wait, that's Goldfinger. Sorry. Ugh. Hey, it's 12:08. Just got back from lunch at Denny's with my friend. Omelets. The sun has come out at the moment. It is perfect, but we are looking forward to some heat, some Carolina Reaper heat later on. Who cares? When are you going to stop talking about the weather, OGGM? When I die. And even then, my ghost might come back and complain about the weather. Just deal with it. Speaking of complaints, Evil Hat Productions has somehow got themselves the Tomb Raider IP and are releasing an official tabletop role-playing game based upon the classic adventures of Lara Croft. Or not, because I'm not sure whether this is about Lara or just about people who have been influenced by Lara, or just a role-playing game about archaeologists, except apparently people think that we want to portray the images of archaeologists and anthropologists as colonialist bad guys, because Lara was a bad guy. I don't know. I played a couple of video games. There was a whole thing about her boobies, and the nude raider and stuff. And Angelina Jolie played her, and tight latex and boobies and whatever. And my best memory of the game was the glitches. Playing the first Tomb Raider, I still remember us doing this. There's like this big battle scene in a cave, and there's an NPC you're supposed to talk to. But if you shoot the NPC and kill him, and then walk over to where the scripted event's supposed to happen, you still trigger the scripted event. So even though the NPC's dead, you still get his dialogue. So just this voice talking. But yeah, it was fun figuring out the puzzles. It was fun. It was a fun game to play. It had a good combination of shooting, puzzles, action, and of course, tiddlies. So, but now there's a video game, or a role-playing game from these guys. Now, of course, it's Evil Hat, and Evil Hat has had a history of sparking controversy. They're the makers of Fate. They're the makers of Thirsty Sword Lesbians. My relationship with Fate. Thirsty Sword Lesbians, which started out great, but ended up being just a disaster because of just how the press was things. So, of course, everybody's going after this game. They're not going after it because it's a franchise that's like 100 years old, and I'm not sure there's a market. They're not going after it because what's the point? It's a role-playing game where you play archaeologists and anthropologists. How many undiscovered tombs really are left? Really? I mean, face it, in real life, maybe if we're lucky, they think there's like 99 throughout the gold rush states. There's still like 99 mines that they haven't found that were registered during the gold rush. That's like the closest thing we maybe have in the United States. Europe, in Europe, there's a couple miles still of the necropolises and stuff like that they haven't been able to reach yet. And there's some Roman ruins that they haven't been able to fully uncover yet. There's those weird doors in the Orient where everybody's like, I don't know if I want to open that last one. Probably in the Middle East, there's a few ruins that haven't been fully explored, but it's never like the movies. Real life is not like the movies. I mean, it would be way cooler, I think, if real life tombs and caverns and stuff like that were like the tombs and the caverns. But then, real life, the ancients had that level of technology. How did they lose? What do you have? We have muskets. What do you have? We have the ability to use the power of the sun to make things rotate, and complex series of hooks and wires and gears. And we can harness the power of the sun to form pinpoint lasers. Yeah, that blows my musket out of the water. How did we conquer you? Anyways. So why are we upset about this game? Because apparently we're upset about this game. You don't play Lara. You play people who are inspired by Lara. You play her contemporaries. You play the Truth Seekers, which I guess is an organization maybe that Lara set up. It's a super secret organization of people whose jobs it is to protect the history of the world or whatever. So it's, National Treasure. It's a 6-sided dice game. You face perilous challenges and tough choices as you explore the world and fight against those people who would steal and exploit artifacts for their own games. You will create a team using a team playbook and then build individual team members, choosing from the crafter, scholar, hunter, companion, legacy, changed, and reclaimer. One player, the keeper of truth, describes the dynamic and compelling world around the team as they all make the connections which brings the adventures to life. Collect truths and draw upon map, aid, and lore to boost your rolls as you race to enter the final tomb. So it's a board game? You get your name, your aesthetic, what defines you, your intuition, your triumph. Based on the hit franchise video game series, it contains rules, advice, adventures for both seekers and keepers. It's currently under development. You can play test it now. There's a design diary. Can I play Laura? You can play Laura. Well, you can play a version of Laura that's appropriate to your campaign. You can draw inspiration from your favorite stories of the legendary mayor, or you could reimagine her in an alternate story because there's so many alternate stories. You have to honor her though, because she is the one that started it. But there's stories you can tell without Laura. There is aspects of Laura, and her thing. And which game you're basing her on, and which version of her, and which comic book, and which whatever, I don't really know why this is even in here. It just includes NPC stats for her, and you're fine. Now, apparently we're upset about this. I don't know why we're upset about this, other than it's Evil Hat, and they have a reputation of being a bit too virtue signaling. They were definitely one of the people who jumped on the, if you don't buy this game, you're racist, but I don't want you to buy my game. And people are like, okay, fine. So you're telling me not to buy your game. I'm not going to buy your game. Well, if you don't buy my game, you're racist, but I don't want anybody to buy my game. I can't imagine why your game isn't selling. But other than that, I don't know why. So I'm going through the things here. We've got the official thing. Now, I should mark that there are a couple official Tomb Raider role-playing games out there, but this is the most current official Tomb Raider role-playing game, and it is brought to you by the same people who brought us, Fate. So yeah, I can't really find what I know we're upset about this because I've seen videos people about, and blaming it on the Alphabet Mafia and saying things like, I bet everybody in there is an Alphabet. So here's an article in Polygon. Evil Hat. This one dates it from February of this year. It's open-ended narrative design. It's based upon Blades in the Dark, because of course it is, which is based upon Powered by the Apocalypse. God damn, Powered by the Apocalypse based on games do way better than Powered by the Apocalypse ever did. But, I've always said about Powered by the Apocalypse, it was one thing away from being the next GURPS. I don't know what the one thing away from it was, but it was so close to shattering the glass ceiling and really being a competition. There was so much potential in there. It could have captured the imagination the same way GURPS and Vampire and Pathfinder did, but it was just missing one thing. Now, at the time when it was first cycling around, that had the whole sex moves thing in it. And, that obviously was a mistake that worked against it. Oh, you can get powers from sex. Oh, yeah, I really want my 8-year-old. Yeah, I don't think you needed that. It wasn't really necessary to get the point across. But other than that, the system always felt like, but it was one thing away. And now look at all these games that are inspired by it. Inspired by Blades in the Dark, which was inspired by Powered by the Apocalypse. Daggerheart. I know we're upset about this. I just don't know why. Yeah, I mean, is it because of the thing like, oh, your true self, or you're afraid that it's like, oh no, if I play this game, I'm really saying I'm trans, or it's only for trans people, or this game's only for the alphabet mafia, or there's a bunch of people who are working on this game who are alphabet, and we hate the people who are on the alphabet. Us, we can't have that. I know we're all about accepting anybody at our gaming table, just as long as they're not any of these people, but we want anybody at our gaming table. I look, my only complaint about this is unfortunately it's a company that has chosen to represent itself in a way it didn't have to. You could have said that you supported those causes in a better way. It will always be something that hangs over you, which was just a mistake. And it's a franchise that's like, what, 100 years old? Does anybody care? Oh, no, the game, the franchise, I don't care. Why the Tomb Raider? Why should why are we upset about this? I don't know why, but I know people are upset about it. I think it's just because it's Evil Hat and because it's Tomb Raider and because, oh, no, look, we've got people of multiple colors and maybe this one's on the alphabet. We can't have that. We don't want the alphabet people invading our gaming space. Yeah. I have a feeling that's what it is. It's just the closet homophobia of some of these people. And, and of course, Evil Hat is the exact opposite because they're reverse racist. They hate everything that isn't white, even though they're a bunch of white people, but they also don't want anybody to buy their games. So it's not like Evil Hat is the hero in this scenario, but in the middle of it, we have a game that people wanted 20 years ago. And now it's just, well, here's another modern day adventure game where you play people in a heightened version of the real world, doing heightened version of the real world stuff. And it just happens to be vaguely influenced by a 25-year-old franchise, that was, fun at the time. I mean, at the time, Tomb Raider was fun, right? It's a fun game. You action, you've got adventure, you've got comedy, you've got shooting, you've got puzzles. It appeals to everybody. Boys liked it because of the tiddlies and the boba, and girls liked it because she was intelligent and witty and she could hold her own against the male heroes. And, everybody loved Laura for like 5 minutes 20 years ago. Now it's a game where you're playing people who base their life on the works of Laura, but not the Laura that we know, because the Laura we know was a colonialist, because she went and retrieved treasures and put them in a museum. And retrieving treasure and putting it in a museum is a bad thing. We're supposed to leave it where it is so nobody could ever enjoy it and nobody can understand the culture of these long dead people, because it's colonialism if you go into a tomb of a people that have been dead for hundreds of thousands of years and research them and then bring the knowledge and the education of these people to light and go, hey, look, 100,000 years ago, these people were doing this. Here's a bunch of their artifacts on the display. This is the only possible way you're ever going to know anything about these people. But that's bad. That's colonialism. What Lara Croft did was bad because she put things in museums and made sure long dead cultures continued to have relevance. So maybe that's why we're upset, because they're trying to portray Laura and the idea of archaeologists and anthropologists and historians as bad, which we know Evil Hat has done in the past. So maybe there's some of that in there. I'm sure it's probably going to be in there, and that's probably why people are upset. On the whole, who the fuck cares? It's not like this game's going to sell. The 5 people who buy it because it's Laura, it's going to sit on their shelves. I mean, where's Thirsty Sword Lesbians now a year later, huh? The 5 people that bought it, it's sitting on their shelves and they're playing other games. It's going to gather dust. It's not going to change the world. Who cares if some fellow members of the thing yet are on it? I mean, I'm on the thing yet. I'm a member of the Alphabet Mafia, so probably I shouldn't be talking about this because I know you guys hate me. So yeah, whatever. It's Laura. 20 years too late, 30 years too late, but whatever. Is there a new video game coming out? Because I think that'd be more exciting. I mean, I guess, will they race swap her? So she's got, what, British anymore, and she's been British, Asian, American, something else, Samoan. The whole point was she represented everybody. She was an icon for the LGBT community. Girls liked her, boys liked her. You were never quite sure what she was. Is she American? Is she British? Is she Asian? It doesn't matter because she's Laura and we love her and she looks hot. And everybody can play the game and have a good time. So who cares if they race swap her, because her race was never defined other than she was maybe sort of British, we think. But we're never sure because it really depends upon which game. We don't really know how old she is. We don't really know her origins. Every story we know about her is changed based upon the game or the comic book. So, yeah, you know, she's more of an iconic idea of a character at this point than an actual individual that was in a video game that's no longer relevant. But I guess because it's evil. If it's evil, it's Evil Hat, and they've done stupid shit in the past, we're going to be upset. And because we don't like people who, you know, are on the alphabet. Anyways, have a great day. I'm sure people will be mad at me for posting this. How dare you support Evil Hat? What if they race swap her? Who cares? What if they make her gay? Who cares? She was a gay icon back then. Why shouldn't she still be a gay icon? Let's make her male. Well, no, because she doesn't play an active part in the game, and she wouldn't be Lara Croft, she'd be Larry Croft. So secretly in all the video games, she was male. She's trans. I know, we can't have that. It turns out she was trans.